Hello, beloveds. Welcome back to Permission Granted. I am Anahita Joon, and this is where we get to bust through society's rules and expectations. And today, we're so excited to be here with the extraordinary Eva Charlotte. Here we have a woman who is a global peacemaker. She has walked through the fire. She has encountered death profoundly. Three. I was like, am I reading that right? Three close encounters with death, which have shaped Eva's expression and work in the world, making her an emissary of peace and a catalyst of transformation by her presence alone. And it's so true. You're going to get to, she's divine. I don't even want to read the rest of this. You can read it on this page. Welcome. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you. Always a joy to be with you.
Oh yeah, we were enjoying each other. We were enjoying each other as we logged on.
Okay.
So you started to speak to permission. What is it? What is most alive for you that you want to speak to? And I know you're going to guide us through a process, but you know, as we gear up to sort of have a transmission before we go into the process, like what's most alive for you that you're excited to speak to when we talk about stepping out of society's expectations of success?
Well, you used the word permission, and what's really alive for me there is that you don't need permission. Who would give who permission?
Well, we know that theoretically, but we do live like we need permission. It's like we've fallen asleep to the fact that we don't need permission under a trance that we do.
Exactly.
So how do we wake up out of that trance?
Well, that's the process. That's an awakening process, and it's really a deepest desire to step out of that is the driving force. And I think in many ways that's the crux of the issue. That's, for many, there's not even a desire. That's like we're completely blinded into the fact that we don't have to follow the so-called rules. So there is not even a desire to not follow the rules, if that makes sense. So having that initiation, that awakening of the desire that there is another way to walk through life, where all of the rules are more guidelines, which is how they really came into place to begin with. How can we as a society have guidelines to help us function together so we don't get anarchy? How do you say that word?
Anarchy.
Anarchy.
Yeah, but we're not talking about rules. I think it's important to like distinct that we're not talking about rules as in law. So we're not talking about being outlaws or breaking the law. That's not what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the subtle agreements, the implied agreements of how to succeed, how to be acceptable, how to win friends, how to influence people and win friends. Like those books, how to do that, those things coming out of that.
Yeah, no, I understand that. The mechanism is the same though.
The mechanism
of laws and rules and the underlying, because what they really are is self-imposed laws and rules. We accept those guidelines, those suggestions, many times subliminally from family, friends, society, of how we need to be. And it starts so early. It starts from the very beginning, just growing up in your family and what makes you a good girl or bad boy, and all those subtle little messagings that defines how we see ourselves. And that is then running us subconsciously. And that becomes the blueprint for what we believe we need to do, be, and have in order to be what's then considered successful or powerful or safe or happy or beautiful, not any of those labels. It starts so early.
Yeah, the labels, I think are really kind of the key. Being knowing how to create a life that is not dictated by the roles, by the titles of the roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like How would one even begin to envision a life for oneself that is not just dictated by the role of wife, mother, business owner, you know, daughter, sister, grandmother?
Well, again, that begins with the desire that there actually is a possibility to something.
And then what? So there's a desire that there's a possibility that
Mhm.
I could live in sovereignty
Mhm.
and not have my identity be these roles, but that I can have a vision that is independent of these roles,
Mhm.
that could free myself. So then what?
Once you have the desire, yeah. The way I have experienced it for myself, and I see it in my clients and friends all the time, that desire is a driving force for so many things. And we're not victims of our circumstances. We're actually creators of our reality. So when I have a clear desire of what I want, and even if I have no idea how to get there, no idea at all, the fact that I have that desire, the universe will respond to that. And all of a sudden, things show up in my reality that guides me on that path because I'm telling the universe, this is what I want. And then, of course, you have to respond to that. It could be a book comes your way, or you meet someone who shares some information, or you learn about this, some teacher who's working with this. And each path is really individual. So it's not like there's, okay, do 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're done. It doesn't work like that. I personally believe this is much deeper than that. And it's an awakening, not necessarily of the human self only. It's a soul journey or a spirit journey, and can take many lives. And there's a higher, bigger perspective that is guiding that. I'm in the river of something much greater, and I can swim against the river, I can flow with the river. But what I claim as my will, what I want in my life, really directs how I flow in this much bigger flow. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. And then, the visual that I was getting is actually that, but there's also river. There's also a river that is the river of sort of unconsciousness. There's also a river of the hypnotic trance that we're already just flowing down. We're all already in this river in a trance going down. So we're talking about actually getting out of that river and getting into a different river.
I don't see it
And
that way, actually,
how
but
do you see
sorry.
it? You don't think that we're in a hypnotic trance river,
Yes, I
drifting along?
do. I
Okay.
do. Um, Let me say it this way. So when we come into this world as spirits into a human form, and a brand newborn little baby, that baby is still very, very connected to
Yes,
the I
of
amness.
course. Yes.
And stays that way for quite a while. And we can all feel like the presence is palpable, and you can see it in their eyes, and they're open and curious and in the moment. And if something hurts, they cry. The moment it doesn't hurt, they're happy again. It's a very, very clean, straightforward. They know what they want. They ask for
It's
it,
true.
all of that. And then over time, by people around us, by society, we learn all these rules or uh, suggestions or labels. So I would then be told that I'm a girl and girls behave this way or that way. I'm good when I do this, I'm bad when I do that, on and on and on. And over time, that then becomes like a roadmap, a blueprint of imprints that actually become a structure of its own. So if you say when I'm newborn, I'm a physical form and body that has all its emotional reactions and all of that, but there's no persona per se. There's body and there's spirit, but there's no Eva. my parents might call me Ava. And as a really young child, that doesn't mean anything at all. It's just a sound. And over time, I understand that when someone calls Ava, I'm supposed to listen. Just like you call a dog Fido, they learn to listen. And further down the line, I'm beginning to realize, wait a minute, I am Ava. Oh. And then identification starts happening with all these imprints. So now Ava is no longer just a label, and different behaviors are no longer just in the moment. They become what I am. I start identifying with all of that I have been told. So now life is no longer moving freely through me as it did as a newborn baby. Now it has to move through this filter of a persona, Ava. So when spirit comes from inside out and expresses itself into the world, it now moves through Ava. So I might have an impulse to ask for what I want, and then I can do that here, and I never say it. Or something is happening outside of me, and I have had an experience of something similar. So even if as a really young child, that experience would come straight in and be purely experienced here. Now it comes through the filter of Ava, which is completely individual. So what actually comes in and gets interpreted is distorted already. Because I'm living in this bubble of perception based on everything I have gone through. And for
subjective,
me,
right?
Yeah. For me, there would be the river of oblivion you're talking about.
Right.
But I have never separated from the pureness of love, of life and love.
Yes.
And
yes.
Always
yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm always in the river. I'm just thinking I'm something else. I'm believing something else. It's so fascinating. Absolutely fascinating how it can work that way. And it's so real. And we all have our own bubble of perception, completely individual, which is why you can hear siblings that talk about the same circumstances and their experience is completely different.
Right.
And becoming aware of this bubble of perception, realizing that I am not that, is the beginning point of setting yourself free.
Yes. Well, I love this. Yeah, because I think it's just so powerful to be able to identify with the I am presence, really is what you're talking about, to identify with that place, to be able to then connect to what am I wanting to experience? What am I wanting to have be my created life experience? So I know you're going to take us through a process, and I think it would be awesome for everyone who's tuning in with us. I know you have your permission passports. We have permission passports and permission slips, and for this whole thing. And so this would be a great time to identify one solid area. I really want to invite. I'm going to do this, and I think it's a good way to do it. And whatever, obviously, guidance you're going to give us, but to identify one area of your life that you would like to completely shift the perception of, like where you're feeling limited or distorted or not liberated in relationship to that part. As Ava takes us through the process, let's just pick one area, all of us, that you get to then claim on your permission passport and write yourself a big fat permission slip for this area that's been like a source of pain or contraction or feeling small or feeling like you're, whatever, showing up to fulfill the needs and wants of everyone and everything around you. Yeah, I'm excited.
That's great.
Yes.
That's a good way to do it. Absolutely. And
however you want us to have us do it, but I just got the inspiration to say that because I felt like that could be.
Just want to add though that if there's someone who feels that, well, I don't know and I can't decide and all of that, that's fine too. Absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But I mean, I'm like, don't be indecisive, claim something for yourself, because everybody's got something that we want to break through. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's like, if it's just like, I'd like to eat less sugar, or I'd like to, not be oppressed by my relationship with sugar, to I'd like to not be oppressed by my relationship with my father, to not be oppressed by my relationship with the government, whatever. It's like micro to macro, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I hope that you come out and you write yourself a permission slip for something
I'm claiming
tangible.
the sugar one for me.
What'd you say?
I'm claiming the sugar.
You're claiming the sugar.
Releasing the need of sugar. It's been.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
You've been wanting some sweetness in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. Isn't that funny? I just said that. Maybe I just said it for you. It just came out.
Yeah, maybe.
It just came out. Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on some stuff that's come up maybe a few times during this stuff. I'm definitely, claiming some deeper layers around some familial stuff, some beliefs that were handed down early on that I'm like, I had no idea I was still holding that one, like deep, 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 like the onion, It's like, oh, there's more of the onion. So I'll go for one. I'll go for one. I know you had said for us to have a scent, something to smell, and a candle, yes?
Yes, it helps. It's not
It helps. Well, the email that everybody got has told them to come prepared, so I have mine. And then I have this oil that I chose just as you and I were logging on, which is the Divine Masculine called Secrets of the Desert from Egypt.
Ooh. Oh my
God.
God.
I put it on already, and it smells like, I never actually wear it by itself. I only wear it with the Divine Feminine one. And so, it's really good by itself. Oh, dude.
I'm curious. I'm curious
Yeah.
about that later.
Very good.
Brandon.
Yes. I'll connect you. It's these priestess tools that I'm committed to bringing out into the world, actually. So is that what we should do? Should we put it on our hands?
This is one way. Yes.
Okay,
if you put it in your hand
it.
and activate it, warm it up a little bit, it releases the scent, and then breathe it in. 3 deep breaths is good. It's interesting because we're really an animal, another species of animal, highly intelligent one, but still an animal. And animals in general are so reliant on their sense of smell. And we used to be when we lived in caves and were hunting and all of that. And we don't really use that any longer as much, at least not consciously. And the sense of smell is the only sense that goes to the limbic system, where emotions are held. So trauma and everything can be really triggered by a sense of smell that we're not even aware of, but it can also be released by a smell. So using scents is actually really, really powerful, especially if you use scents that are created in a way where they maintain their properties. It's kind of like if you overcook your vegetables, there's no nutrients, and it's the same with oils.
Right. All right. We're all yours, sister.
Okay. So just settle in wherever you are right now. Just really sit down and take time to just be with this. Multitasking is great, but to get the most out of it, just really take a moment and settle in. Close your eyes and just feel yourself right here, right now. Start by putting your attention on your body. Just feel your body. Feel the presence of your own body. And know that you are not that body. You have a body, you feel it, it's really real in your experience, but it's not what you are. You are perceiving your body through your awareness. So feel and perceive your body. And notice your breath. And breathe consciously for a couple of breaths. Just follow your breath in and out and see and feel how the air fills your lungs Feel the expansion and the contraction. It's really utilizing the breath and your awareness to bring you, yourself, to the present moment. During our daily life, we tend to have some of our awareness in the past and a lot of our awareness in the future. What am I going to do next? What's for dinner? Did I do this? I have to call that one. Do your best to just release all of that right now and be in this moment. Truthfully, there really is nothing else but the eternal present moment, and all your power lies there. Your ability to shift anything, create anything, be something more than you are right now, claiming that permission, that is so much more accessible in the present moment. And put your attention in the center of your chest, your heart area. And sink inwards. You'll pass your physical heart, you'll pass your heart chakra. Keep going deeper. You can imagine it as the center point in a bubble. See yourself as a bubble of perception, and there's this tiny point of light right in the middle. You can call it the seat of the soul, the spiritual heart, gateway, doesn't really matter. Those are just labels. Just connect with that center point. Doesn't matter if you feel it or see it or really am aware of it. All that matters is that your intent and desire is to connect with that. And so it is. Feel that light and know that that is you. That this point is the gateway, the entry point between worlds, where you can always access that which you really are, the essence of your being, the I am awareness, consciousness, spirit. Connect with that space, that light, that gateway, the spiritual heart. Know beyond any doubt that you're connected to you, your I am awareness. And then feel your breath at the same time. It's easy when we connect with spiritual aspects of ourselves that we disconnect from the physical aspect of ourselves. It's easy to get in the habit of walking between the two worlds, back and forth. Sit in meditation, check out, connect with spirits, then come back and be the human persona again. By feeling your own light, the flame that always burns at the center of your being, together with your breath, you bridge the two. And what happens then is that you bring yourself here. You bring you, spirit, here. This is very, very simple practice. And yet it is profound if done on a regular basis. If you were to take 2 minutes every day just to connect and remember and feel the I am awareness that you are, little by little that becomes more present here in your physical form. You are not your body. You are not your emotions, and you are not your thoughts. Those all belong to the physical world. You do not. You are in the world, but you're not of it. You have a body, mind, and emotions, but you're not it. And by practicing being aware of that on a continuous basis, that presence becomes more and more real for you. And that presence of what you really are is already free. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't need permission from the external world, and it doesn't need permission from you, your human self. By bringing yourself here, you can witness yourself, the human persona, as it arises within you. You, your thoughts and emotions are arising within the field of yourself as consciousness. So when something happens in your life, say a trigger comes up and you experience fear arising within you, by practicing this awareness that we're connecting to now, you can be aware of when the fear is starting to arise. You notice that before it has taken you over, and you can call that out. Oh, fear is present. Is there any danger? Most of the time, there isn't. If you're about to be hit by a car, fall down a flight of stairs, then yes, the fear is real. But most of the time, fear or any other emotion is arising based on a memory being triggered. Something happened earlier in your life that you subconsciously now is reminded of. You might not, most likely will not be aware of why, but the fear is arising. And with awareness, you can notice that. You can hold that. You can allow it to be without believing in it, without stepping in and saying, oh, I am afraid. The moment you do that, the moment you accept the fear as real in this moment, it becomes real in this moment. You have tremendous power in every moment. And all it really takes is awareness and practice of catching yourself. So if nervousness is arising, notice that, be aware of that, call it out for yourself. Oh, nervousness is present. Why? Is there any reason? Do I have to claim that as mine? Most of the time, there is no reason. The same goes for thinking, for thoughts. Thoughts will be arising within you. Are they true in this moment? The mind has a very intricate way of working, wanting to fit into old systems. Like we talked about earlier in this conversation, we early on learn what's right and wrong, good and bad in the culture and family we grow up in. And everything we then experience needs to be molded to fit into that pattern, regardless of if it's real or not. That's how the mind works. So by creating this break in identification, you can witness it as something that is simply arising within you. It's not true until you make it true. It's not real until you claim it as real. So when you claim permission to break a habit, I do not want to eat sugar the way I have. This habit of just automatically fulfilling the need that is now become a habit in my body, I want to break that. So when the urge, craving rises in my being, I'm noticing that. Oh, here it comes again. I am not my body. I am not my mind. And I'm not my emotions. What am I? Feeling my chest sinking into my spiritual heart, breathing. There's a peace there, always present. There's a detachment, centeredness, a clarity, always, always present there, because it is what we are. So by taking that tiny little time out to reconnect with that, to remember, to perceive, to connect with, we have access to infinite potential and pure power and pure intelligence. And from that place, it's so much easier to say, no, I don't want to give in to that craving right now. There's no judgment, there's no pushing against, there's no making it wrong. There's just a simple acknowledgement that my body craves sugar like crazy right now, and my mind is telling me that chocolate is so good, and I can feel it in my mouth, and I remember how good it feels, and all of that is present in my being, but there's also something else present because I bring awareness of that. And from that space, permission granted, so easy. It doesn't take away the body's craving at first. It doesn't take away the monkey mind or the agitated emotion or whichever emotion is arising. That is still present, but it loses its power. When you connect to the big river, the little river is just a river within the river. It does not have the same power any longer. So take a moment right now and recall the choice you made before we started. Bring up a memory of that which you are claiming permission for. And bring it really real for yourself. Feel it in your body. Remember how it feels emotionally. Let the thinking around it come up. Bring all those layers of your physical being present. And then take a deep breath and reconnect with your heart, your spiritual heart. Feel the space around you, the vastness of infinity, inside and out, and that entry point, in the center of your being, the bright light where all your power comes in. And feel your breath. So you're holding that which you really are together with that which you want to change. And allow it to happen. You are bringing your future into the past by doing this. And by vibrational law, things has to align. Life has to align. If you bring a vibrational shift here, right now, present in you, everything has to align. That's how energy works. Vibration works that way. It's, creation works that way. And as you bring this new vision, the future here, make it real in your being right here and now, and anchor it within yourself. Know without any shadow of a doubt that you have made a shift right now. Doesn't matter if you believe it or not, it's irrelevant. The vibration is what matters. You have made a shift. Know it. Claim it. Give yourself permission to just do that right now. Then just relax. Take a few breaths, deep breaths. Let that future become your reality vibrationally, here and now. And know that it will start showing itself, manifest in your reality. And so it is.
And so it is. So be it.
And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come in. Take your time.
Whew. Ah. Oh. Yes, yawning is good. Just a reminder. Thank you so much, Eva. If you guys are yawning with me, your brain is actually resetting, getting oxygen to the brain. So I am so relaxed. You have such a way. Do you know that you are very relaxing in addition to powerful and wise and all the things? Do you know that?
It's really a transmission of energy.
It's exquisite. I mean, it is, because it's not just relaxed. It's like this delicious love.
Everything
Relaxed love, receptive.
Everything carries vibration. So through the perception you guys have of me and everyone else, we feel each other. And in something like this, it's a very deliberate transmission of that energy that I walk in.
It was already, yeah, and it was coming through before you even started the process. And thank you, that was really beautiful. I had a moment in the middle where way before, like near the end, where you had us like taking the future to the past, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like it needed to connect, like the I am was alive and I was fully expanded in that. And then it was like, I tried to bring the circumstance, or sort of like the pattern rather, into the I am. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that great. So then I projected the I am out onto the pattern, and that was like really good. Yeah. And then I got to ride that and expand into that the whole time until then you had us sort of doing it. Yeah. So it was so wonderful. Thank you so much.
That's beautiful that you experienced it that way, because that's really how I see it, that it works, that the more I become aware of myself as the I amness that I really am, I can bring that here into this worldly life of mine, and specifically into the circumstance.
Yeah.
And by doing that, bringing that vibration into, I have this circumstance that was created in some kind of edgy energy, and then I'm bringing this soft, open-hearted energy to it, and of course it's going to change. It's alchemy. There's just science. You bring one vibration to the other, it will change. And the I am awareness is always the most powerful. So it works beautifully. It's just a matter of practice and taking the time to do it. And it doesn't have to take a long time.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. You guys, fill out that permission slip. Sign yourself a big fat permission slip for whatever it is that is getting alchemized at this moment. Gosh, I mean, this is my last session for the day, and I feel so good. Thank you so much. I'm just like, woo, what a great space to like go be with my son. Totally not in the workspace at all. As I grab like a pen in each hand. This is so funny. I just grabbed like a pen in each hand. Really divine, delicious. Thank you so much. I know you have a way that people can stay connected with you and offering to continue to experience your vibration. So what is that?
Well, for a gift for everyone who's participating, please follow the link. And for those of you who are interested in a conversation, the first 5 who reaches out, we're having a complimentary conversation and see where that goes. And we do processes of whatever is coming up. And for the rest, we'll make more of a group gathering, virtual, since that's how we have to do things now. And there's also a free meditation to download.
Beautiful. So that's so generous. So you guys follow the link, and there will be a free meditation there, and then the first 5 to go in will get a live conversation, and the rest of you will have a group experience.
Yep.
Super sweet. Thank you, beloved. Just such a treat.
Always love being with you in these gatherings. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're a blessing.
Well.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Love and blessings to all. Just be yourself, baby.